Hi, good evening. My name is James Ireri. Welcome to the show, Man Unveiled. What a privilege to have you once again as we are going to talk about issues regarding men and bringing value to men. I'm looking forward to have an interesting conversation. I have a very wonderful panelist here with me, and it's going to be an awesome time. So, gentlemen, karibuni sana to the show. We are here, and we are blessed to have you guys. Kindly introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Ernest Nyingi. I am many things, but I like to say I'm a legacy leadership consultant and an execution coach. Legacy consultant meaning just helping people to make a difference as leaders, and then helping people who want to make goals, fulfill them. Yes.
Awesome. Karibu sana, Mr. Ernest.
Asante.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for having me once again. Been here before, but for the sake of introduction, Boniface Nyoikenganga is my name. I am a disciple of Christ. I'm an author.
Yes.
I'm a trainer, and I'm a capacity building consultant.
Awesome.
That's what I do.
You carry a heavy portfolio with you.
Well,
welcome on board, sir.
Thank you so much.
And it's great to have you around.
Thank you.
Both of you guys have been great support to this program, and I'm looking forward to engage you even this new season more to be able to draw that wisdom and that biblical guidance, especially pertaining to men.
Yeah.
And karibuni to the show.
Asante.
So today we'll be having an interesting show that I've been looking forward to.
Yes.
Regarding tenets of respect. And you know, when you hear respect, Boniface and Ernest, it's something that resonates from us when we are growing up, you know, and as we enter to marriage. There are so many areas that we have always observed. From our training, from our kind of upbringing that resonates with the word respect. What comes to your mind when you hear the word respect, Boniface?
You know, for me, respect is about the code of honor, showing somebody that they are valuable, esteeming them, and not doing anything that may belittle them in that sense. So when I think about respect, I think about making somebody larger than they are.
Yes.
You know, there is the opposite of respecting somebody, which is demeaning them, where you shrink somebody. But when you respect somebody, you actually take the qualities about them that are positive, you magnify, enlarge them, and validate them.
Yes.
So when you do that, you're being respectful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I think as we were having this discussion before the set, that, you know, the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and they will never depart from it.
Yeah.
And I know, Brother Ernest, you are very passionate about young people and the teenagers. And you see, that's a very good place to start molding them. As we mold them to be Christ-like, even as we help them to mold the value of respect. And Ernest, you know, as we are growing up, probably the times have changed, and so many things have continued evolving. But respect, especially what the Bible commands us, because all these matters, we are leaning them to the Word of God, because that's the only place we can get the meaning of life, isn't it? So, Ernest, respect, how does it come, especially when you are starting to mold a young person?
Well, young people may struggle with the reality of what does respect mean. My background is journalism, so one of the things I told, the right definition of things helps.
Yes.
And so, for me, my personal perspective, respect means due regard.
Yes.
You know, for the rights, for the interests, you know, for the wishes of someone. So just having regard, thinking about and caring for. So when young people are growing up, one of the things that they must be taught, and I think parents, when children are starting, they do a very good job, because they say, don't steal somebody's thing, return if you found. It is during those formative years that respect is actually internalized in a young person. And most of the time you find that if parents haven't done a very good job in training and helping their children understand what respect looks like, those children always, you know, in the future turn out wrong. They'll abuse teachers, they'll do things. And I've been situations where we have had, there's one time we had a camp, and a certain young man was totally insultive of the teacher. But because the parent did not key in to teach them when they were young what respect looks like, that we may differ in opinion, but I can still give you due regard
Yes.
because of who you are. Yeah. So there's a huge challenges, you know, at the formative years, you know, just helping young people to understand respect.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think it's very key because as you discover that when a child is young, you program to them things that matter to you. And so it could also be a signal that the parents were not also well brought up.
Yes.
Because when you see a child who does not uphold respect, probably the parents were so busy to build in that child the values of respect, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you remember, Boniface, when you were speaking about a child having very good grades.
Yeah.
But the comment at the back of the paper, the teacher is saying that this child is not respectful of authorities.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that charity begins at home.
It does.
And when those values have not been built up well, they will show up at a later stage, you know, because we are going to take this conversation and bring to the full maturity of a girl becoming a wife. And then when the Bible says in Ephesians that, you remember, we are going to read that scripture about the wife respecting the husband and the husband loving the wife. So we are starting it from the formative stages. This little girl, because I know you have a daughter, and you are building in her values that will help her in life. And what is this matter you want her to get it very right when she's growing up, when she's young, in regard to respect?
You know, I want to echo what my brother Ernest has said.
Yes.
That there is the element of due regard and also the element of honor that I was talking about. But a culture of respect cannot be taught by words. It must be taught by example. True. So the first place where children or upcoming young people pick their values from is not what you teach them, but what you model. And that's why it's important, especially for people who are family men, that before you attempt to teach your girl respect, for example, she must be able to see you being respectful. True. Because cultures are more caught than taught.
Wow.
Many times we compromise the ability to transfer values because you say one thing, but then you contradict. I remember one time I was driving somewhere along Gong Road, and you know the way you can try to take a corner and then you drive the car and you block somebody else.
Yes.
And I didn't know that the person that I was blocking was actually a member of one church where I was a pastor.
Yes.
So this guy opens up the window, he's in this big car, and he insults me.
Yes.
And my kids are at the back of the car.
Yes.
And I'm sure they're waiting to see what is going to be my reaction to that situation.
Yes.
Now, I could have taught them respect all the while, but my reaction in that moment was either going to reinforce that value or create a contradicting picture where they begin to say, oh, by the way, it's not all the time you're supposed to be respectful. So what am I saying? It is in those moments of provocation, frustration, and anger that you actually show whether you believe your values or not.
Yes.
And many times that's where we fail. And I'm saying this having also failed myself.
Yes.
There are times I am supposed to respond in a certain way. Maybe I overreact.
Yes.
Maybe I give a reaction that is not appropriate for that situation. But also what helps you to mend that is the ability to say, wait a minute, I reacted this way, but it is wrong. I did so because I'm human and human beings make mistakes, but then come back to the original script and say, this is how respect is supposed to be like. So what's the best way to teach respect? By being respectable yourself.
Yes.
Let the children that you're raising see you honoring people, and especially when people dishonor you. Because when you're only honoring people who honor you, then you're playing a rat race there, right? But when somebody mistreats you and you treat them with honor, then you send a lesson that cannot be forgotten. So let me summarize it by giving you a practical illustration of a guy I read about. He's called Andy Stanley.
Yes.
So Andy Stanley, his father was a pastor.
Yes.
And being a pastor, one day there was politics in the church, and one elder came from the pew, and he came and he hit the father in the pulpit. You know, he hit akampiga ngumi.
Yes.
And the son was there watching, what will my father do? And he said, that day I learned a lesson on respect that I could never have learned any other way, because my father stood there, he never retaliated. He told the other guy, what you've done is wrong, but I will not respond based on what you've done. I know better, I take the higher road.
Wow.
He said that lesson practically cemented the culture of honor in him. So when he sees people fighting him, he doesn't play at that level. He plays at the level he so demonstrated.
Yes.
And that's why we are saying honor, respect is caught when we demonstrate it at the family level, not when we just teach it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm hearing a very powerful statement, that it's not a matter of whatever you speak to them. And especially with children, children don't take what you tell them. They take what you see them.
They watch what you do.
What you do, what you repeatedly say. If your no means no, your no is not a maybe. You know, those no's when you know, the children are very calculative. They know when you mean a no with a capital N-O. And they know when say no, which may be, we may change grounds.
Wow.
And I think as you have illustrated with that example, that would a place that they caught how to honor and respect.
Absolutely.
And as you've brought a very interesting dynamic, Ernest. Would you like to take up the matter and say, for example, how you treat people that do not contribute a lot to your life? Okay, for example, if you go to a restaurant, the people who serve you, they don't have an after effect in your life. How you treat them, how you treat the person at the gate, how you treat the receptionist. Ernest, what did you say? People who don't have any major contribution to your life at that point.
Yes.
And you have people that are watching you. How do you carry yourself?
Well, it's very interesting that one of the places where respect and honor is tested is when you have people who don't contribute something to you. Because most of the time, people who give something to you, you feel obligated to treat them. But when you feel you are higher, either in position or in finance or whatever, measurement you use, that's when we can tell. We believe, and the reality is there's something called human dignity. Because a person is a human being, should be given due honor and respect for who they are, not for what they have, not what they do. It's not about their position, who they are. Now, most people who will claim they are respectful can be seen when they are dealing with no ones, quote unquote. Because, like an example, if you went to, you need to go to see a manager. But you have to walk through the hands of two people, a watchman and a secretary. If you respect them, you may actually have ease to actually get what you want. Then if you said, no, since I know the big man there, the rest of you are no ones. But you know what, the truth is this, probably you've ever been there yourself, where people have undergraded you based on what you have or you don't have. But it should be from how respect is brought from dignity. I respect people because they are created in my image. If both of us are cut, whether you are CEO and somebody is a cleaner, you have the same blood.
True.
And being able to say, regardless of accolades and things I've gathered, I treat people based on the fact that they are a human being, and I give them due respect from that level. Those lessons, if they are not taught to children at that level, and unfortunately, people who have a bit more, and whatever more means, are the ones who have those challenges. You've ever seen children playing with each other? Do you know they don't know disrespect? They totally have an internal understanding of everyone is equal. There are people you not talk to. So sometimes you'd go on the street and I'll see my daughter say, hi, and the person you're greeting, you're like, maybe you shouldn't greet that person. But you see, they have learned this is a human being. It's not about what they have or they don't have, and most people would actually enjoy children more.
You know, you've just reminded me something that is very sensational. You have been into places, for example, that rekindle some memories, for example, alumni meeting and stuff, Mr. Modi Boniface. And the most likely question they'll ask you after a long time is that, what do you do?
Absolutely.
And I've come to discover they're not asking you what you really do. They want to size you up and know what kind of respect should I accord this guy. Because, for example, if you give them a very high profession, they will give you some respect. So some people don't really respect you for who you are. They respect you for your title, for your position, for your achievement. But some of the introduction that people give, a very plain introduction, may hinder you from being respected. And they will deny you some things because you didn't give that complex kind of an introduction. just say, I'm a friend to Ernest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you leave it at that.
Yes.
And everybody will be wondering,
Yeah.
so what next, you know?
Yes.
So people in life sometimes carry your importance and treat you with importance because of the title you have.
Absolutely.
So I usually encourage and tell people, especially when they're in their profession, remember, those people are treating you that way.
Yeah.
They're opening for you the doors.
Yeah.
They are cleaning your tables and everywhere and calling you Bwana Mkubwa. But it is a position.
Yeah. It's not the person.
It is not a person. So, but we need to be authentic. You know, that word authentic triggers a lot of things from you. We need to be authentic so that we respect the personality. Because now we have discovered that this person, even without the position, has the deposit of God.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes.
The image of God.
Yes.
The one which our brother is talking about. The humanity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a least common denominator is humanity.
Humanity. Yeah.
Yes. And you wanted to add something?
Yeah, and I also want to say, and it goes for even house helps.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The house managers.
House managers. It goes to the people who, basically, if you want to know you're respectful, look at how you treat people who don't have enough. People who are low. It could be financially, or maybe they stay in a particular place.
Yes.
I mean, I've seen people who are a bit wealthy harass someone for no reason.
Yes.
You see, because they feel I'm a higher position, so I have the right to. Unfortunately, then their basis for respect is external, not internal. And for us as Christians, those are things that we should not be part of.
Yes.
In fact, people should know those guys treat people equally, regardless of what they have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now let's bring the conversation back to men, because this is why we are here. Yeah? The Bible says in Ephesians 5:33 that, but each one of you, I'm reading the ESV version, but each one of you must love his wife as he loves himself, isn't it? And a wife must respect her husband. Okay? Mr. Boniface, would you like to go first? What is the order in the Bible? The Bible does not presume one comes after the other.
It doesn't. And when you look at the structure of that verse, it's interesting that that verse speaks to the deepest need of either gender. When you look at the deepest need of a woman is what? Is to be loved.
Yes.
So the moment you love a woman and you love her for real, then her need in the relationship context is met.
True.
The same thing when a man is respected, and that need for respect is met. And by the way, it has been proven even by science and sociologists that the biggest need for a man is not sex, contrary to what is preached out there.
Yes.
The biggest need for a man is respect.
Yes.
When a man is respected, there is something internally that is met. There is a need that is met. So when God is saying husband love, wives respect, he's actually saying there is a way I had wired marriage to work.
Yes.
And it is not about you focusing on your need being met. It is you focusing on the need of your partner. Because marriage is a place of giving.
Yes.
Now, you only give on the context of need. That's the only way it becomes love. All right?
True.
So when God is saying husbands love, he's saying I've created a woman with an internal need for love.
Yes.
And that need needs to be met in a marriage context. So it's not a who does what. It's a question of understanding this is the design.
Or who
God has-
does what first.
Or who does what first. Or saying I will only love my wife to the extent that she meets my need for respect.
Yes.
It is actually saying God has put me in a marriage. My wife has a need for love.
Yes.
My role and my duty and my value in that relationship is expressed to the extent that I meet that need.
Yes.
So whether she's meeting my need or not is not what dictates whether I meet that need.
Yes.
I take initiative. And by the way, part of maturity in relationships is doing the right thing first, regardless of whether your spouse is doing the opposite.
True.
So God is telling us as men that whether your wife is respecting you or not, your role, the code I've put inside you is to meet her need for love.
True.
And trust that God in his wisdom will allow her to respond by also respecting you.
Yes.
But even when she reduces her respect level, you love her.
Awesome.
Because if God, through Jesus, had actually said, I will wait for the day you become less of sinners so that I can love you, then that love would be conditional. It would not be redemptive. So the only way you play a redemptive role in a marriage situation is when you identify your duty and do it. Because you are either being redemptive or destructive.
Yes.
When you're destructive, you say, huyu mtu hata anitreatingi the way I'm supposed to be treated as a man.
Yes.
And so now you begin to play that game of comparison and competition.
Well, what you are at it,
Yes.
Boniface.
Yes, sir.
What about that level of entitlement? So this person is waiting for you to meet a part of your bargain so that he can reciprocate.
Yes.
Please comment on that.
Yeah.
Is there kind of an entitlement when somebody feels I should first be respected and then I will flow in love? What is the right order?
The order is this, because an entitlement model operates with a 50-50 perspective.
Yes.
So I bring 50%, my spouse brings 50%.
Yes.
Now, in the order of God, there is no 50-50.
Yes.
It is 100-100.
Yes.
So you play your role 100%.
Yes.
Now, is that easy? It's not. And the reason it's not easy is because you playing 100% will mean there will be times you have to make sacrifices.
True.
And sacrifice presupposes that the other person may not play their part all the time. But because I want to play a redemptive role, I actually play my part 100%, even when I feel that my partner is playing 70%. Now, why is that important? That is important because, especially for us as men, when you play your part 100%, it shows that you're doing leadership right. Leaders don't lower their standards when followers disengage. They keep maintaining the standard until the standard begins to inspire the followers to also match up. So you don't lower the standard. You play your role and you trust God for the grace to keep doing it even when it's hard. So I'll give you a very practical example. So I heard about this story of a guy who was engaged to a lady, and this lady was beautiful, and you know every man loves a beautiful woman.
Yes.
So they are on their way planning to get married, and then all of a sudden there is an accident. The wife gets burned severely on the face. She literally gets crippled and she can't do several functions for a whole 2 years. And a lot of the friends to this guy are telling him, unaenda kuoa mtu mwenye hata hizi fanya kazi. What kind of a husband are you going to be? You are starting your marriage and you'll be cooking for your wife, you'll be cleaning her. You know what this guy said? This guy said, when I loved this woman, I didn't love the container. I loved the content.
Wow, that's
right?
powerful.
So the chemical, you know, accident disfigured the container, but the content is still the same. True. So this guy said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to love my wife. But that accident was so bad until the woman lost one of her eyes. But the guy didn't reduce his investment based on the conditions.
Wow, that's powerful.
He operated love from a conviction level. And this is what we are saying to men. Operate your love from a conviction level, not from a condition level. Condition where when your wife does a certain thing is when you reciprocate. No. Love is not about reciprocation. Love is about sacrifice. And especially marital love. And by the way, it's been proven that marriages that fail and marriages that work face the same issues. The difference is, for marriages that work, somebody looks at the issue and they say, how can I respond with sacrificial love if I'm a man? And if it's a woman, they ask, how do I respond with sacrificial respect? So what does that do? It redeems the marriage. By the way, until we operate unconditional love, then we will kill our marriages instead of redeeming them. So my encouragement to men is, and it's hard, by the way, it's not easy. We are not saying this because it's easy for anyone. And your flesh will not like it. All right? Your emotions will not feel good all the time. In fact, I usually say, and we joke with my friend here, we say, if you always feel good in marriage, then you are either pretending in that marriage or you're being a hypocrite. But true marriage, true love has an element of pain.
True.
And counterfeit love removes that pain element. And the pain element is what we are calling sacrifice. You play your 100%.
Wow, powerful. Wow, that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Ernest, tell us about the 100% and 50-50.
Well, when two people are getting married, it's interesting. They commit to this holistic oneness, where they say, for better and for worse, you know, for richer, for poorer. Like, they're committing to be there and be all there. Unfortunately, in the design of God, by him creating men, and to just talk, we already said that internally, every human being has a need for acceptance and respect. To be given, to be taken that they're important based on their quality, their uniqueness, who they are.
Yes.
So in the context of marriage, here are two people who have a need to be fair, to be made to feel I am important. Then the husband is supposed to be told, is supposed to be given respect, which means you're honoring the person and the role that they've been given by God.
Yes.
Okay? Which means beyond now the humanity,
Yes.
this person has been given a certain elevation to be able to lead.
To be the focal point.
Yes. Is it because he's better? No. It is not because he's better. It is because, in fact, sometimes there are times when I've sat down with my wife and I'm like, this woman is better in very many respects. Actually, God is trying to humble me by giving me a very high-end woman and with a very low standard that I have. I'm actually being challenged. I'm going to read a strong.
Areas, not all. I know you.
Yes, but you know,
Don't
but you know,
degrade yourself to
no. I'm just saying, no one marries someone who they are going to help.
Okay.
They marry someone who they feel this person is actually coming to add value, and because that's why you call them better halves.
Yes.
Which means if there are two halves, one is better. It means I marry a better one. So in this regard, now the stronger woman, this particular individual is supposed to give respect to this other one. It's an issue of function. Because if things are going to happen and work well, there must be respect. And respect is not, I must achieve. No. It's about, you respect the position God has given me for the sake of functioning of this institution.
Yes.
In the same way, does it mean now the husband shouldn't respect? No. Because the basic need, as we said earlier, is everyone has a need for due regard of who they are, how they feel, and all those things. So in a sense, love for a man is respect. And love for a woman has a bit of respect in it, because how do you love someone if you're not going to willing to sacrifice for them? If you're not going to honor them?
Yes.
And you know, we say respect has very deep roots in honor. That this person God gave me to love her with everything I have. I respect her. I cannot be unfaithful outside. I respect her. If she makes a request, I make it like a command. So you see, there's this balance of the two of us are going to give the best that we can, so that we actually make this relationship to work. In fact, there's a verse that says, you know, submit one to another. What do we do with that verse if I'm expecting respect alone? It's actually saying everyone is trying the best they can to make sure that this relationship works. No one giving 50%.
Ideally, what we are saying is that every relationship, the better part of your contribution is giving more to the relationship.
Yes.
Besides expecting what shall come back, isn't it?
Yes.
So I think we have laid a very good foundation, and we're going to pick it up from there the next session. We'll be looking at why some conversations have been that you have to earn some respect, and to demystify that myth and clarify and base it from the Word of God. Thank you, viewers. We're going to take a small break, and we'll be back shortly. God bless you.
Knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is not just preparation for life. Education is life itself. Great education does not only deliver creative thinkers, problem solvers, and innovative minds, but also individuals who are physically, emotionally, and spiritually sound. Gospel Light College offers holistic education and much more.
This course or this bachelor degree has really has come in at the right time, when there's so much need in the community.
My life has been transformed, my ministry has been impacted, and I'm going out there not only to impact the community, but to impact nations.
Search no more. We offer higher diploma, bachelor's, and a master's degree in biblical studies and community development. We also offer Greek classes. The May 2022 intake is ongoing. Book your slot today by calling 0748 006112. Gospel Light College, a Christ-like worker for a Christ-like church.
Welcome back, viewers, to our show, Man Unveiled. Today we are having a very interesting conversation about the tenets of respect. And we mentioned respect, it goes vis-a-vis with love, isn't it? As we've read in Ephesians 5. And we've discovered that we are in an environment that we are givers. Okay? We are more than givers before we expect, yeah? And humanly speaking, probably there is that level of expecting reciprocity. But we have said, you remember in our first show, we said that give 100% without withholding anything. Is it called withholding tax?
Yes.
Without withholding anything, yeah? So, Ernest, we were in that conversation.
Yes.
And we had reached a place where we were asking ourselves, do some people or do some women justify when they say that you have to earn my respect? Is respect earned?
Well, again, we have to go back to what we defined respect as before we talk about is it earned or freely given.
Yes.
And we said, quote, that respect is a due regard for the feelings, wishes, and rights of others.
Yes.
So, by that definition, how does somebody earn the right for you to regard them, to regard their feelings, their wishes, and their rights?
Yes.
In that case, it cannot be earned.
Yes.
It is given because they are a human being, they have a voice, they have ideas, there are things they think about, they are unique. Giving them the opportunity to appreciate, because regarding something highly has an element of you consider it important.
Yes.
So they have an opinion, consider it important. It's a basic human need.
And you are saying, for instance,
yes,
they may not be the smartest in that area.
Yes. It's not about smartness.
Yes.
We say it's not about externals.
Yes.
It's an internal need that they have as a human being to be regarded highly.
Yes. I was just drawing the line that it's not about the smartness of these people so that they may deserve your respect, isn't it? And I think we have heard many times enough that, for example, men really don't like being compared with other people. And they find it as a form of disrespect, isn't it? So what would you say about that? People who want to compare you with somebody so that they can accord or demand something from you to reciprocate respect to them.
Well, and by that basic definition, we are also not saying that because I naturally need to be respected, I can do things that are disrespectful and I'm still given extra respect.
Yes.
Because you see, if I provide for my family, it is an added quality in the reality of me being respected. Because there are things you're doing. You're a man of your word. When you do this, you say this, you do, take care of us.
Yes.
So we really honor you for what you're doing for us. But even if I was not in a position to honor, the honor does not reduce, only that you're calling it, you're more honorable because you're doing what you need to do. So you're pleasant and you're good in that regard.
Yes.
You see, that's different from, look, because you didn't provide today, I don't respect you.
Yes.
Because then the bare minimum,
the reducible minimum.
Yes, the bare minimum is that I'm a human being and I deserve my respect.
Yes.
You respect my rights, you respect my feelings,
you
respect my space, all those things. Okay?
Yes.
But on the other side, the person who wants to be respected must also show themselves respectable.
True.
There are things that they must do. They must carry their weight.
Yes.
For example, you see, women will say, and I've been in situations where in counseling say, this guy doesn't deserve my respect. When he earns, he messes it. How will I respect him that he's not doing what he needs to do?
Yes.
And there's a justifiable cause there to warrant your desire not to respect them, but it is not warranted because it is not about external performance.
Yes.
But are we also saying that men can just go ahead and behave the way they want and still receive respect? No.
Yes.
You can unconditionally love someone because of who they are. But what they do also does matter. So I tell those women, you can respect the person for who they are.
Yes.
And not, carry them like you are useless and you are nothing.
Yes.
Because they are a human being, they deserve.
Ernest, we are talking in a context where we have women who are listening to us that are not married to born-again men like you and me.
Yes.
And they have men who are not following what the Bible is saying.
Yes.
So they are expecting a great deal of respect.
Yes.
And they should be they should hear you and what you are saying, that even the drunkard husbands, regardless of their state,
Yes.
whether they are sober or not, they require respect. It's a need.
It's a need. In fact, yes, and I maybe let me even put it in a practical sense.
Yes.
So that it makes sense here.
Yes.
The same way a person, a woman, has a need for love,
Yes.
the same way a man has a need for respect.
Awesome.
It's not something that you may give or not give. In the context
not
of marriage,
optional.
it's
Yes.
not optional.
Yes.
You actually sign the paper to say,
Yes.
I will respect you. In fact, I say this, a man understands love through respect. He doesn't understand love through feelings,
Yes.
I love you.
Yes.
It's not in the words,
Yes.
it's not in the emotions, no.
Yes.
I have a deep respect for the individual you are. Your words, your direction, how you think, your opinions, they matter to me.
Yes.
That is now what a man will call love.
And how you treat them.
Yes, and you see, once you have, as a wife, let's say you're having a husband who's not born again.
Yes.
See, the question is not salvation.
Yes.
The question is husband.
Yes.
Because you see, once
'Cause
now
it's part of your
once you
choice.
spiritualize the issue of respect, then you're on the wrong. Because there are times when I am a Christian and I don't behave very saved. So if my wife measures respect based on how spiritual I am, then the people who are, prophets and those are the ones who are going to receive respect. But the Bible is very clear. Wives, respect your husband.
Yes.
Care for them deeply,
Yes.
for who they are, the standing that God has allowed them, the position they've been given, the function that they are playing, who they are. Because a man has, for example, an ego. Okay? And women fight that as a reality because they don't see. A man was made in such a way that he needs to be very different. His needs, his desire to conquer and to do all those things.
Yes.
So whether he's doing them or not, because he's a male, a man, he needs to be given his respect.
Ideally,
Yes.
God placed man as a focal point of a family.
Yes.
Not because he's the best,
Yes.
but because somebody has to be answerable
Yes.
to this organization called marriage.
Yes.
And apparently it's the leader.
Yes.
So you're saying God being a very high regard of your spiritual leader, and you don't have respect to your immediate boss.
Yes.
Don't you find there's a contradiction?
Yes.
Or you respect your boss at the office, but you don't respect your husband.
Yes. In fact, I tell couples this, when we're doing some of those journeys, is that if your husband feels
Yes.
that you esteem highly another man than you esteem him,
Yes.
that's already a threat.
Wow.
Because in his world, he should be like the one who's
The
next
epitome.
to God.
Yes.
And it's not based on performance.
Yes.
Because you see, you may disagree with your boss
Yes.
on a certain function.
True.
But because he's the boss, that's what he wants.
Yes.
Fine, just do it. And guess what? We don't have a problem there.
Yes.
But you see, once you emotionalize respect, that's where problems begin. You say, if you make me feel like this, then I will. And again, I'm not trying to excuse men. I'm just saying, regardless of the behavior of a man,
Yes.
he has a deep need for respect. Once you understand that reality, then, and I always make this joke and say, women can be able to get what they want in a marriage context.
Yes.
It's just how they treat. A friend of mine made a very interesting joke and said, well, interesting because he talked outside the context of, marriage and Christianity.
Yes.
And said, this man does not bring a dime at home, but he will go out there and a certain woman will make him feel like he's a king. And he'll give all the money.
Yes.
What's wrong with that picture? He said, no. If you meet the deep need he has,
Yes.
naturally,
Yes.
a man will want to respond because they will respond to a need called respect. That's all we are trying to say.
Yes.
We are not justifying his behavior, what he's doing or not doing.
Yes.
We are just saying, as you relate with a man, as you relate with a boy,
Yes.
he has a deep need, a very deep need for respect.
For respect.
That's all we are saying.
And also, I think you're also looping in your
Yes.
parents, for
Yes.
example. And they may not be born again like you,
Yes,
but God demands you respect them.
100%. And again, that's what we're saying. You see, there's a difference between personality or position.
Yes.
We are not saying you have to like them.
Yes, you don't have to like them.
Yes, we are not. You're just. The Bible
Or to
actually tells
agree
you
with what they're
love.
doing, yes.
You can be in disagreement. You may not like how they behave or what they do, but you have no right.
Even in a marriage
to
context,
disrespect.
Ernest,
Yes.
you may have some disagreements.
Yes.
But have them in a respectful way.
Yes.
Have you ever seen or heard of people who disagreed on a matter
Yep.
until the children notice
Yes.
somebody here does not have any value?
Yes.
And when a man feels that in the conversation, whether he's wrong or right, and in the presence of other people, remember the word demeaning, he has been demeaned.
Yes.
He has been looked down upon. You get? This man feels inferior. You remember when you said he's feeling, you are esteeming other people before him. And he's wondering then, what is my role in this whole activity, isn't it?
Yes.
So men don't want to be in that kind of a corner that they feel like you have other options, and I'm just one of those options, isn't it?
And in fact, maybe to even give it context, you see, if I am a unique person,
Yes.
and then you compare me with another unique person
Yes.
who's totally different from who you are,
Yes.
essentially you're saying you're preferring this person to be me.
True.
Then why don't you choose that person?
Yes.
But the fact that you've chosen me
Yes.
with my uniqueness, with my weaknesses, with my challenges, then because of the choice you made, then you give the respect based on that particular decision.
Yes.
We did not choose our parents. God gave them to us.
True.
And saved some of them rough.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
the question is not persona, how rough they are, their temperament. It's they are called a parent.
Yes.
And because they are a parent, unsaved, or it does not matter, the due honor to them
Is
should
required.
actually be given.
Yes.
And that's all we are saying. And then God even goes higher to actually say, honor your father and mother, and this is a promise with long life, which means there's actually an attachment to parentage, not persona.
Yes.
God is very strategic in how he actually makes rules
Yes.
of life. And what we're also trying to say on this other side,
Yes.
for us, for individuals, and I know the backdrop of our conversation is difficult because there are men who've been very irresponsible. They have not taken up their responsibility.
true.
They've not done
We are
what
not
they needed
excusing
to
them
do.
for
You know, and they have actually messed the ideology of the respect that a man should be given. We know there's that context. They are men, and yeah, when you look at them, you respect them because they are a human being, not because they are a husband or a father. They've not owned up and taken responsibility. That issue can be dealt differently. But the fact that they are a man, they have a need called respect.
Is there also that kind of a great balance, okay? A very delicate balance of, for example, in a dysfunctional family, kind of, the wife should be the higher person to teach and mold the children not to disrespect their father, even if he has other weaknesses, okay? So that when they see the picture of the father, they respect him. Not because he's providing, not because he's the best father, not because he gives them attention or does whatever, you know. The role, the fact that he's the father, it is not replaceable, isn't it?
Yes, in fact, we usually tell women, and this one is a tricky one for women. Children will honor their father because of how their mother treats them. Because the one person who children are more with is a woman.
Yes.
So her ability and her character and how she responds to the reality of a weak husband who has challenges. And by the way, every woman should know, wife should know, every man has issues.
True.
There's no one who does not have issues. It is only Christ who is perfect.
Yes.
And we know he's in heaven. But down here, equally, we will have challenges. But our wife has the capacity to be able to model to children that we may not agree with what he's thinking, but we know who he is.
Yes.
And so we are giving him, he's your father.
Yes.
He brought you.
Yes.
He may have a few challenges with provision. He may have had this challenge with anger. He may have all these things. But guess what? You don't treat him because of how he is. Treat him because of who he is. He's your father.
And also not probably engaging your children
Yes.
to discuss about your husband
Yes.
in a negative way
Yes.
that disparages their character, isn't it? Or that makes them look like they're useless, isn't it? You see, the picture that is drawn to you by your mother is very important.
It is.
So the greater need for us to paint a good picture.
Yes.
It may not be the perfect situation, but that person needs to abhor and great reference to the father, isn't it?
In fact, I have done a lot of work with young people,
Yes.
and I'm hugely, working with the leaders to become mentors and
Yes.
disciplers. And one of the biggest gaps we see is that we tell a young man that he needs to become a man.
Yes.
But the picture of a man that he sees is not a man who is worthy of respect because it has to be earned. So here is a young man who's trying to perform. So he believes if I do this and this and this and this, I deserve to be respected.
Yes.
And he does not see that it's actually esteem for who they are. So that when the wife does not model and even show respect to the husband, guess what the children learn?
Yes.
I am only a man when I provide.
Yes.
Now you've just made it an external issue. So a young man who's growing in such a home will grow with gaps, feeling, am I sufficient enough because I cannot provide the way mom wants that? Will I ever become that man?
Yes.
So you see already now you've messed up, not just the one you're disrespecting, now the one who's growing up there. You disrespect, when a wife disrespects her husband before a daughter.
Yes. What?
The daughter is learning that the way to rate who a man is how much he provides.
Yes.
Not for who he is.
Yes.
So when she grows up and she wants a man, what is she going to look for? Someone who has money.
Yes.
But if the Lord organized for him to marry a young man who's starting up and together they build wealth, he will not. I've had girls and ladies say, look, he's good potential, but no. Me, he must have
I don't
a
want
car.
to work with the potential. I want to work with finished product.
Yeah, I want to work with a finished product. I want someone who has money.
But we know that finished products don't come easily.
They don't come easily. They're manipulative because if you find someone who's already all built up, then you're coming to serve him. You're not an equal partner in the grace of life to be able to actually build a life together.
Yes.
And you see now that's where, you see, when the problem of marriage is
Yes.
is that it is a one unit that creates father wounds and mother wounds for these children, not just for that potential particular person. Because you see, if my wife treats me with respect,
Yes.
my daughters will actually learn that, oh, you honor a man for who he is, not what he does.
Yes.
When my daughters see that wife has appreciated when I've been very broke and things are not working, but I've brought something home.
Yes.
And she says, thank you very much for providing for us.
Yes.
They learn, oh, we need to appreciate. And guess what? They will keep on appreciating.
Yes.
So the model that they are looking at is a mom. In fact, what does the Bible say in Proverbs? That the children who go wrong, who cries more? The mother.
It's a mother.
Why? Because she's the one who's like the light to show that reality. Yes. So there's a bit of a responsibility on the wife to be able to respect the man, because she's like the foundation in a home.
So a wise woman, like the one in Proverbs 31,
Yes.
covers the inadequacies of the husband,
Yes.
and does not expose him to ridicule or weaknesses
Yes.
to the children,
Yes.
and paints a picture of a strong man,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
For example, when fees are due and money is to be sourced from wherever, he should be wise enough so that children do not feel that she's the one who is paying their fees. Ideally, what it is trying to build a picture is, my father is still in charge.
Yes.
You see, the person who is in charge most of the time demands some respect. You get?
Yes.
You see, it's just like in an organization structure, the person who is in charge, the hierarchy of power demands respect, isn't it?
Yes.
So this person, you should not deny them that hierarchy to see he's the focal point of the family, isn't it? So a wise woman should be able to cover the nakedness of the husband, and bring some sound kind of covering to the husband, so that the children do not perceive their father to be a weak father or an absent father.
Yes.
Try to cover for the husband so that they can maintain that respect.
In fact, let me create a small scenario.
Yes.
Even if the husband or the father doesn't look the part,
Yes.
or doesn't even act the part,
True.
a woman has the ability, a wife has the ability to actually say to the children, you guys may have issues with him, but I love this man.
Wow.
Case closed.
Yes.
So you've negated everything that is called negative. You guys may have all the issues. The same way women want their husbands to take care of them with their in-laws. They say, no, show them that I'm your wife. Even if I am wrong, you can't show me in public that I'm wrong. Say, yeah, she could be wrong. She could make all the mistakes, but guess what? This is my woman.
Yeah, this is my woman.
And if that is a reality, so at home, we are trying to say, create a picture that this is still the best decision you made, because it was imperfect in the first place. Some of women, the raw material they got at the place of marriage and what they have made it is amazing. In fact, they should actually celebrate when they remember where things have been. And it's still a work in progress. God is still at work in the life of a man.
True.
So give him due respect for the position God has given him. But the woman is so influential. In fact, sometimes I consider a wife, like the Holy Spirit, continues to work gently to help this man become the best he will ever become. And what a privilege for you to look at a young man who was rusty and all crazy, and now you've made him into a mature person that even other people are looking at like, now that one is a husband. That is the work of the woman.
A wise woman will be able to cover and to stay behind the curtains. Not because she's a weaker person. Remember, some of them are even smarter and even more brilliant on some matters, you get. But and you're not trying to put them behind, What you're trying to say is this: let the focal point receive his respect. And I have seen an analogy somewhere about the person sitting on the seat of power, and the person behind the power of the seat of power. The people who are besides the seat of power are more powerful than the person sitting on the seat, because they know. For them, they have more influence. Because they can influence the person sitting on the seat of power.
We all know. We said earlier that I say my better half. And a man should be able to sit down and say, you know what? I actually have a better half, not a bitter half. I have this person who tries to bring the best in me, not the beast in me. So they honor me, they make me feel I'm important. So if a man is looking for support and confidence, should be able to get it from the home. When they go out there to face life, the person behind is like, you know, that man is ready.
That's my cheering team.
So the cheerleader, the support, and the Bible is very clear. It says that a wise woman builds her own home. For you to build a home, you must build your man.
True.
So what is a home, if you think about it? It's not just the children. It's actually you're building your man. You know his weaknesses, you know his challenges, you know the points that he has issues. Build. That's the work of the woman. And says, well, a foolish woman tears it with her own hands. Which means a wife is powerful in that regard. They can actually build their home to the best that there is. I have seen women who've gone through a lot, but they said, I'm sticking to this marriage. And when people look at the man later, the guy who was crazy and sits back is transformed. If doesn't the Bible say, even in New Testament, that even a wife who has an unbelieving husband is able to, because of her godliness, make holy this individual. So which means the woman is coming to support. Bible says this in Genesis, that this wife comes to actually add so much value in the life of this man, that this man's life will never be the same again because you came. So you have the responsibility to build your home. And guess what? Are we saying that the husband has no role? That's not the context of our conversation today. Our conversation today, we are saying, look, the man is due his respect for the position that he has as the leader of that home.
Not
if you do your best,
not a negotiation.
It's not a negotiation. And I have seen, I remember a very bad story of a woman who started earning more. And he picked everything in his house and left. Left the man with, I think, a bed or something. In essence, that woman, in a sense, there could have been problems of finances, but I kind of like know the situation better. And it was like, the man said, I got left because I was broke. So in essence, the respect was being given was made on provision. Are we saying provision is not important? No.
It is important.
But there should be more. A wife has the ability to actually see more in the man than what comes. In fact, I usually say this, that a woman should be more interested in what drives the man, not what the man drives. And that's what she should build. That's what she should work on. Because in society, it's going to be led predominantly by men. And if the man is going to become man enough, a woman has a very huge role to play in the home, because men cannot make a home by themselves, for all we know.
That's why they need a woman around.
They actually need, and she's actually there functionally higher in her sacrifice. Women sacrifice more even in a marriage relationship.
Yes.
They do. We all know that. My mom sacrificed a lot to be able to bring the 5 of us in the family.
True.
If she was not there as a pillar, I'm not sure we'll be where we are. So a woman, and are we saying a woman cannot be professional? Again, no. We're just saying you do all you're doing, but remember you have a designated opportunity as a wife.
Yes.
To build your children, to build your man, and for a man, his biggest need is respect.
Yes.
Do that and you've nailed it.
Yes.
In terms of love and making something work.
Wow.
That's what we're saying.
We are saying there is no excuse. We are not excusing the men for mediocrity.
Yes.
On their shortcomings.
Yes.
What we are trying to say is that they deserve respect.
They do.
And because we may be having single mothers listening to this,
Yes.
and single mothers listening to this,
Yes.
we are telling them that the place of that father in the life of that child
Yes.
should be upheld and respected. You may not agree with that man over everything,
Yes.
but remember, he's a father to your child.
And to also say for single moms.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Because I've had opportunities to relate and get to know what they say.
Yes.
You see, if the marriage did not work
Yes.
because its own issues, don't affect parenting.
Yes. Don't infect the children.
Yes, because that's a different function.
With the
The man
toxic
failed on
kids,
this
yes.
one. Don't mess even that other one, because your child is going to need a father.
True.
Or a father figure, for so to say.
Yes, yes.
And their lives, there's a statistic that was done and shown that men who get saved and they walk with the Lord, their children turn out better.
Wow.
And their rate of spirituality is actually higher than the one when a woman is born again. So a man has a role. You know, with his challenges and weaknesses, he may not have the emotions.
Yes.
He may not even be able to, love you the way you feel you want to be loved.
Yes.
But his position is still very vital in terms of running out.
For example, women need love. That one we know.
They do.
Calling them,
Yes.
reaffirming,
Yes.
appreciating them,
Yes.
making them feel you honor their presence. You get.
Yes.
Making them feel they are remembered.
Yes.
You get. But for a man, even if they don't feel remembered, and you show them respect, you have conquered everything, isn't it?
Yes, you have. And maybe to balance this conversation,
Yes.
we tell the men
Yes.
that when God gives you a wife,
Yes.
he knows you need him.
True.
God knows you need a woman
Yes.
to be able to make the best of a home.
Yes.
So if it's God who's giving you a particular woman to become part of your life,
Yes.
you need to have very deep respect and love
For the
for
woman.
this woman who
True.
God has given you,
True.
to support, to provide,
Yes.
to do everything you can to make sure that everything she needs to make this home,
Yes.
sometimes even submission,
Yes.
just allowing her to, I think this, she thinks she's strong, let her have her way.
Yes.
I can give you scores of stories
Yes.
of men who realized, I actually don't need to fight the person God brought to
Even
me
as you wrap up, my brother.
to make it my reality.
Even as you wrap up.
Yes.
I know this conversation can continue and continue.
Yes.
And we'll pick it up from here.
Yes.
And dig deeper.
Yeah.
But I would like you to give us a parting shot to the men listening.
Yes.
And even the women listening as you look at that camera.
Okay.
Yes, and give them your parting shot.
Respect is not a question of does he deserve by his actions. It's a question of function. Because he's been given a position as a man by God to lead that home, to do this, you respect him. Just you do with a boss. So for the lady out there, the reality is this. Your biggest need could be love. A man's biggest need is respect. Who he is, if he's doing something, making a big deal out of it, that's your role. For the man who's there, you are privileged by God to be able to be given a strong partner who needs your love and your care and all those things. If you respect her position as well, what God has made her, the two of you respecting and loving each other, you can have the best home ever, and your children and the community can have a source.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir, for bringing a lot of wealth and wisdom on this matter. I can't add anything on that, but I know we'll pick it up, this matter, and dig deeper and grow in wisdom and learn more. It has been your host, James Ireri, here on Man Unveiled. God bless you for staying tuned. See you another time. Thank you.